Hello, everyone. We're doing a show in London. Say hi, everyone. Hi. So I'm actually here in London. We're in Kensington. That's right, Kensington Palace. We are recording live from, otherwise known as the Holiday Inn, the world's most ugly meeting room. Love what they've done with the place. We've got just under 20 listeners. I wanted to keep it low people because, one, I can actually talk to everyone. Two, any more than this, I'd have to get like speakers and it would cost more and all that. But we've had a cool hangout. Stay around at the end of the episode. And I'm here with Shane Hatton. Say hi, Shane.
Hi.
Hi. At the end, Shane did some cool voodoo spooky stuff. So if you do watch on YouTube, you'll see the video of that at the end of the episode. We did that at the start. And we're here with, 20 of London's finest and Shane. And we're Aussie expats. I wanted to do a podcast in London and it's going to be a fun evening together. And we're going to get into the podcast right now. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by Sky Wealth, one of our podcast show partners. And I got Phil to explain to me if he can help with insurance for expats. Do you have life and income insurance, Shane?
No, but I should.
You should.
Absolutely.
Now, Phil, this is a bit sloppy and Sean may put this overlay in post because I'll send him the file, but let's have a look here. Because I said to Phil, just record me a message and I'll play it. All right, here's what Phil from Sky Wealth had to say because I messaged him and I was like, hey, can you get insurance for people in London?
Hey Glenn, good to see you're in London recording a podcast about Aussies living in London and the things to consider when you're an expat. And one of the things to consider is insurance when it comes to personal insurance cover. So at Sky, we are able to help Australians living abroad in certain countries get insurance in Australia. So things like life insurance, disability, trauma, and income protection insurance. And we've done a deal with one insurance company who will offer cover because most life insurance companies in Australia won't offer cover to expats living abroad. So the people who will benefit from something like this is if you are living overseas, but you do intend to come back to Australia long term, and that's your long-term home, then you may want to have a policy that's domiciled in Australia. So when you return home, you're fully covered still. Now, if you have intentions to live abroad long term and you're in the UK and you want to be there forever, then it is probably best to set up a policy over there in the UK because that's your long-term home. But if it's a 2-year working holiday or if it's 5 years max, but we want to come back to Australia when we have kids or to settle down, then that's when it's a good idea to reach out and get your personal insurance cover sorted out. I don't actually know what I'm doing.
So that was Phil Thompson from Sky. They support the podcast. And yeah, so if you're working full-time in London, there is an Australian insurer that you can get insurance through. So if you do move back down, you've already got your policy in place. So thank you to the team at Sky Wealth for supporting the podcast and people abroad. Before we get into it, this show is general advice only, and I've got a license to provide that advice. Full details can be found in the show notes. I'm a former financial advisor. Now I do the Money, Money, Money podcast. If you're a regular here, we call it M3, and we do a podcast called Retire Right. I've got a book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, is available wherever good books are sold. There's a link in the show notes if you want to turn up your investing to 11 or if you're just getting started. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for being here today. Okay, because we are in England, we're in foggy London town, I'm going to sprinkle this episode with some money facts about England, the pound, if you will. First couple of facts. The pound sterling is the world's oldest currency still in use, dating back to 775 AD during Anglo-Saxon England. The silver standard, it was originally literally a pound of sterling silver. 12 silver pennies equaled 1 shilling and 12 shillings equaled £1. Before 1971, the system was pounds, shillings and pence, 12 pence to a shilling, 20 shillings to a pound. Complex maths was pretty wild, wasn't it? Okay, Shane, let's talk.
I do love the transition between those two
Yeah,
thoughts.
that's right.
And now, ironically, £1 is the equivalent of 400 Australian dollars. So
That's right,
A little bit of money
exactly.
facts for everybody.
Exactly. Or as Nick Bradley likes to call it, funny money. Okay, what do you do for work?
So I travel the world as a keynote speaker.
Yeah.
I would say is what I do mostly.
And you have been on our podcast several times. You've done a lot on the This Is Work podcast with Shelley.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do different? And you now live in London.
Yeah, I've been here for 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
Just tipped over 2 years.
Yeah, cool. What would you do differently when arriving in London now, knowing what you know?
Oh gosh, a lot of things. I think one of the first things I found was when moving over, I probably underestimated just what kind of runway you need to kind of set up life here. Because I think in terms of like, I definitely saved some money. So for some context, I moved my business over here, but I still very much work across Australia, the UK and the US. And the main reason for moving here was because it's 26 hours to travel anywhere in the world from Australia. So I wanted to be somewhere that maybe felt a bit more central to the rest of the world. I wanted to expand my business around the world. And so I had runway in my business lined up, knowing that it was going to take a little bit of extra time to find clients here. I probably...
But that's going to be different for someone who doesn't work for themselves.
100%.
Yeah.
But I would say still, if you're moving over here, the kind of runway you need if you don't have a job when you move here, or if you are looking to just kind of come over just to, I don't know, travel here or whatever, I think the exchange rate, you don't realize very quickly how quickly you burn through cash. And so making sure you've got a good long runway of preparation before you move is a big one.
Yeah. And so just for those listening, you know, and people will see at the end of the video on YouTube, the after party, the spooky magician wildness.
Yeah.
So you're doing that stuff. You're doing like leadership type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what type of organisation would book you, and for what?
Yeah, so the spooky stuff that we're talking about, the weird thing has been kind of an iteration of my business. A lot of the work that I've been doing in the last few years has been around helping organizations define and design their culture. So what does it look like to create places where people don't hate going to work on Monday morning?
Show of hands. Does anyone here hate work? No one hates
will admit
work.
to that.
Yeah.
No, of course
Camera's not on you guys.
Because your organizations are great.
Camera
They're
is
fantastic.
not on you.
Yeah, so a lot of organizations will typically invite me to come in and talk about how they can create culture by design. And the iteration of my business has evolved into helping people discover what is the kind of hidden magic in work and in life. So how do they find things that light them up, that create great engaged workplaces? And then obviously on the side of things, I try to read people's minds just for fun.
You really do. So anyway, so we'll put Shane's website in the show notes if anyone wants to reach out and book you for corporate events or anything like that, wherever they are in Australia or the US or anywhere in the world. What did you and because your wife moved here with you?
Yeah.
What did you guys do for accommodation when you arrived? Did you have anything lined up?
Yeah, I was really grateful to have friends here.
Right.
And so was able to move in with them just for the first month, just to try and like look for places on the ground. It's so hard to try and inspect from afar. And so that allowed, like I said, it's just kind of all these things around having a bit of a runway makes things incredibly different. And I should acknowledge I have a bit of a privilege in the sense that my dad was born in the UK, so I've got a British passport,
right,
which is basically what everyone's hoping for. And so the move was a lot easier because of that.
Anyone here in the room have some ancestry ties other than myself and Shane? Yeah. Gemma? Yeah.
My grandparents.
Grandparents?
So it actually turned out that my grandma was born and raised in the street that I live in now.
Wow. If you couldn't hear that, her grandma was born and raised in the street that she lives now.
And I didn't know that until after I got the place. And I was like, why is that street name familiar? I was searching my messages with my mum, and mum had sent me her mum's birth certificate like months before, and I was like,
wow.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow. I love.
It's incredible.
She's a mentalist. Basically. How are you and your wife managing money here? other than with great difficulty.
I made jokes about the exchange rate before. The challenge for me is that I have an Australian company and a UK company. So all of my Australian company, my clients are still invoiced through my Australian company. My UK clients and US are invoiced through my UK company. But in terms of like managing, I obviously will transfer money out of my business and pay myself in Australia, which I have to transfer to UK currency. So it's really difficult at the moment. Hence the reason why my push at the moment is to build up the UK part of my business. So earning in pounds and living in pounds is a much better experience than earning in dollars and living in pounds.
I live in kilos. Lots of them. So what are your plans, medium to long term? Is here home forever, do you think?
Look, I think one of the things I found moving to the UK is it put me in a bigger world, being able to be much more of a global city. Australia is always going to be home for me, and I'm there every 6 weeks, but I think there's something about being here that enlarges your perspective. So I think it will be difficult to go back to where I was. It feels a little bit like when you transplant a pot plant and the root system grows out to fill the plant, and then you try and shove it back in the smaller plant where it was, and you can make it work, but you do sacrifice some things to go back. So potentially we'll go back, but at the moment, my plan is to come to live much more of a global nomadic life.
And how did you and your wife make friends in London town?
On the tube, which is a weird thing. If you ever tell a British person you made friends on the tube, you know what? I had someone sit next to me and they said, do you realise the person you talked to on the tube could have been a person who has escaped from prison? And I was like, I love that your default response is that this person could have escaped from prison rather than they could just be a really nice person.
I went to Redemption Coffee today.
Yeah.
It's a roaster.
Yep.
And 20% of employees are ex-cons.
Ah.
So I got coffee from a
That's great.
murderer, which, I mean...
Well, yeah.
it's good that they're getting back into society. And I think the reason... These glasses are from American Airlines at the Holiday Inn. They're American airline tumblers. No, is that American?
That's an American Airlines logo. Yeah, absolutely.
Haven't had my Ritalin, as you can tell. Anyway, I just think it was a cool story that, I got coffee from Redemption. Anyway, the tube.
Yeah. One of the things you find is whenever you move somewhere new, the people you're most likely to connect with are people who are expats, because we're used to living in a place where you don't grow up with people, so you're used to being able to make friends with strangers.
I was thinking today, on the tube, it's so good for a society to be around strangers and other people. Like, I was on the thing and the doors open and I watched these people try and get on with their suitcases and luggage, and this other random guy just helped them on, and yeah, it was just nice.
You definitely see the best and worst of people on the tube.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, maybe I haven't tubed enough.
There's some beautiful experiences on the tube. There's also some horrible experiences on the tube, but mostly...
I love it. Okay, the tube. And any other conventional ways?
Yes. I mean, most of the time it's connecting you with certain groups. Like when you do move somewhere new, you have to recognise that it takes time to really feel like you can belong in a place. And the way that I've used it as a bit of a litmus test of when you belong somewhere is when you start to appear in people's stories. When you hang out with people and you talk and they all tell their stories, but you're not in them. And then you fast forward a year and then you tell stories and then you start to appear in people's stories. So it can feel really lonely in the first year.
I need a whiteboard for that analogy.
Well, it is. So if you think about the last time you went out with people, what you do is you spend the night recounting your history. But if you're new, you're not in that history. So it usually takes about a year. And once you've been around for a year, you've built some friends, you'll start showing up in stories and it'll make you feel much less lonely. So if you move somewhere new, don't feel overwhelmed if the first year feels really lonely, because it will just take some time to feel like you belong.
I wanted to move to London last year for like 3 months or so. And even after being away for 5 weeks, I can't travel by myself. Does anyone get lonely? Is that TMI? I know everyone is.
No, of course.
I get lonely.
No, it's not.
It just hits me harder.
Yeah.
And... Like I did the tour with Sarah the other night, and I said to her, we had dinner after, I'm like, if I just would have been, it just wouldn't have been as good doing, like I would have done it by myself, but just to share the experience with someone, it's like, oh yeah, there's an old painting. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, so.
Well, isn't that kind of like the whole perspective on life, is it's better done with people rather than on your own?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Shane took me to Soho House for dinner the other night. He's a member. Yeah. Rich much?
I'm so sorry for people listening.
If you were to recommend one place to go and eat or drink at, what and where would it be in London?
Oh gosh. Look, first place that popped into my mind is like Dishoom for breakfast. Dishoom
We
for breakfast.
tried to go the other night.
Yeah.
Sarah was like, "Oh, there'll be no one there."
but breakfast is
Right.
breakfast is great. Yeah, breakfast is really great there.
Should I go tomorrow morning?
Yeah,
for
let's
breakfast?
go.
All right, who wants to meet tomorrow morning for breakfast at Dishoom?
What time is breakfast?
I don't know. Do people have jobs here?
Just around the corner too.
Oh, there's one here in Kensington.
Yeah.
All right.
As well.
All right. Well, Shane, we might say thanks for sharing a bit of your London
Thank you.
story. Thank you for wowing all of us before the night started. And you can follow Shane on Instagram at
Well, Shane the Mentalist.
Shane the Mentalist.
Or Shane M. Hatton.
Shane M. Hatton.
Yeah.
He is mental. Shane, thank you so much.
Thanks, Glennie.
Give him a hand, everyone. And Samara. Samara's going to come down and share a bit of her story. Welcome to the podcast.
Lovely to be here.
Yeah. How long have you been a listener?
Quite a few years actually.
Oh, my
Not
apologies.
So much recently.
Yeah, neither.
But yes.
Yeah, it's funny because I met someone the other day. Well, this always happens. Oh, I used to listen to your podcast. I'm like, sweet. But I get it. Like, if I listen to a podcast, it goes through seasons. Like, you're not always going to listen, right? And I'm like, yeah, sweet. I don't care. I'm like, there's the old one-hit wonder songs from Aussies, and they were like popular like 20 years ago. I'm kind of like that in the podcast world. Like, was really popular.
I'm listening to an audiobook though, if that's any
Oh,
consolation.
what one?
The Get Started Investing.
Oh, that's not my book.
Oh.
That's Equity
the
Mates.
other,
the Quick
other
Start
one.
Guide to Investing.
That's the one. Yes.
Whoa. Are you at the right event? No, she isn't. Okay. Samara,
Good.
did you know that the Bank of England introduced banknotes in 1694 to help fund a war against France?
Now I do.
You do. And you're just so riveted by this.
Thrilled.
On the 15th of February, 1971, that's when Britain switched to a decimal system, making 100 new pence equal to £1. Phew, I'm glad they did that. This is not going well, my facts. So what do you do for work?
I'm a physio.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Did you have your job or work lined up here before you moved here?
I was speaking to a recruiter back home,
Yeah.
and they were like an Australian kind of healthcare recruiter, and then they transferred me over to like a UK one, and they were quite awful. And then I got referred to a different recruiter, and they were amazing. So
Awesome.
I landed in the UK without a job, and then within 2 weeks I was working.
That's pretty good. How long have you been here?
Just over 2 years.
Awesome. What would you do differently when arriving in London now that you kind of know the vibe?
Not too much differently. I think just like seize like every opportunity that you can.
Right.
Like,
Do you think there was opportunities that you didn't seize?
yeah, probably a few.
Yeah.
It was probably more so, like you were saying before, just in terms of like cash flow and kind of, throwing money at things at the start. It's always a little bit dicey. You want to make sure that you've got like steady job, steady house, all that type of stuff.
Speaking of
So,
homes, what did you do for accommodation when you arrived?
I fortunately had a family friend who lived here. She didn't have any room at her house, but she sent an email out to her community.
Wow.
And a lady emailed her back and was like, yeah, I've got a room. Like she can stay for however long. So the rent was dirt cheap and it gave me like a foot in the door. So
Yeah.
really grateful for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
how are you managing money here? What's your system or vibe? Your royal vibeness.
So generally, I think most people get paid like once a month here.
Criminal.
Yeah, it's painful. So when that comes in, I try and divvy it all up. And yeah, I work as a subcontractor, so I make sure I do my tax portion first, get that out of the way, and then I just have different kind of pots of money where I will allocate different things to. So I've got like 4 different country names in my Wise accounts, like Norway, Turkey, and just funnel money into those.
Okay, I'll buy it. Are you saving up to go to Turkey, for example, or Norway?
Well, I'm going to Turkey next week.
Oh.
But yeah, I guess that's in my head. I'm like, I want to go to these places. I don't want to save enough so I can have a decent time there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And are you, for example, just for your own mental quarantine, when you're in Turkey, you'll just use the Turkey currency? Or is it euro in Turkey? No, it's not. But is that the kind of thing or are you saying you've got different country accounts labelled in pound or AUD?
Yeah, so they're still labelled in pound, but when it comes to kind of going next week, I'll exchange that pot to
the Turkey money.
Yeah, I really should know what it is.
Apologies to the Turks listening.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Wise, I use Wise. I'm sure a lot of people know what
I've
Wise is.
been loving it.
So yeah, it just converts over pretty easily and go from there.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
So what are your plans? Bit of an open-ended question. You've been here 2 years.
Yeah, so I've extended for a third. And
are you on the youth mobility?
Yes. Yep. So when I got my initial visa, it was only 2 years. And then when I moved over, they extended it to 3. So they gave us the option to extend. Just a bit of cash, and they're happy to give you an extra year.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll kind of see it out till next June and then see how I go.
Where are you from in Australia?
Melbourne.
Okay. Put your hand up if you're from Melbourne here. A lot of Melbourne people. Interesting. Sydney much? Yeah. And anywhere else? Gemma, where are you?
I'm from Canberra.
Canberra, nice. Sarah's from New Zealand. Any other states? Not Brisbane, Vegas. Love it. So how did you go about making friends?
So I used Bumble BFF quite a lot. Most of my really close friends now I've kind of met through that. So
anyone else use Bumble BFF or whatever it is? The
the non-dating site. Don't use the dating site.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a girl I met last year, this summer I went and like met her family in France. And
is she French?
Yeah. So
wow.
Originally she was here for a year and then she had to move back, but we've stayed in touch and I've got friends from like Malta, from Germany. So yeah, I guess it is like in a sense quite transient though. Like you'll meet someone and you'll be really good friends.
I'm here for a week or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they'll leave and be really selfish like that. So
yeah. If you were to recommend one place to go and eat or drink, what would it be? Where would it be?
I would say the Sunday roast at the Pig's Head in Clapham is elite. So yes.
Now, anything else that you would want to tell anyone who might be listening, who might be thinking of coming up here?
If you're trying to open a Monzo account, don't try and do it in Australia. So wait till you're here. Otherwise, you get banned for life.
Unless you use a different email.
Okay, there we go. That's 5 years experience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I resorted to Revolut. So.
Any regrets? I've had a lot of time alone with reflection the last week.
Do you have any regrets, Glenn?
Many, yeah. I do, yeah.
Not really. I guess it's like maybe having a bit of extra cash before coming over, but other than that, no. I think it's kind of...
And is the equivalent money for a physio here equivalent to Australia? Like you might get 85, 90 AUD at home. Like is it...
I was on a salary back home and I'm like a subcontractor now. So I guess like London private practice fees are a lot higher than what Australia would charge.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be earning more here.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
awesome. Actually, and I was thinking, and I'll get your view of this before I let you go, and then we'll have a break and we can go and get some drinks. Like in Australia at the moment, it's so cooked in terms of the housing market, right? And, trying to get ahead with the cost of living and all that. And to anyone listening, if you are under 30 and maybe your career's getting started, I would really challenge you and encourage you to consider coming up here, doing a good 5 or so years or 3, work really hard, save up as much as you can up here, try and build a career up here. Because with the exchange rate, imagine saving up, earning a lot of money and taking that back home. Like, you're going to get a huge leg up. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. So not only the financial side, the life experience side, like one of my regrets was like, I should have in my 20s come up here. Like, I just should have done it. And, I don't know, it's just such I'm like walking around London alone. I'm thinking like, oh, regret, I should have done this and done that. But I'm here now, get on with it. But yeah, if you're in your 20s, take that risk, get up there, come up here, try and get ahead. I know the job market is tight up here. Is that a fair thing? Yeah?
Sorry, can I just challenge you?
Come on, Philly.
Too, but yes.
Yeah, you challenge. All right, if you're going to challenge me.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about this.
All right, sit down so you.
I didn't mean this to get formal.
No, we'll get another chair.
Oh.
No, you stay there. Oh gosh, getting challenged.
Thank you so much. Here we go.
Depending where this goes, whether it makes it.
So I was having a chat earlier with my
And this is Philly, everyone.
with my co-winner. The average income is like 30 grand in London.
Yeah.
Imagine living off that when your rent is £1,000 a month. People, it's really, really hard to save here. I would not encourage anybody to move to London with the intention of saving up money unless they fell within very specific categories of people. Corporate lawyers and like finance tech people, because I've got friends who are in the 200 to 250,000 pound realm plus bonus. They are earning triple what they did back in Australia. They're doing exceptionally well for themselves. Most of my friends in normal industries took a pay cut. I'm a lawyer. I took a pay cut to move here. So I'm earning less. My expenses are so much higher.
What type of law do you practice?
Government. So
Okay.
it's very specific.
Yeah.
But I unfortunately had the tragedy of looking up what my budget was back in Australia. I own a 2-bedroom flat in Sydney with my partner, and my mortgage on that is my portion of it is a quarter of what I'm paying here in rent. And I could save so much money in Sydney, which obviously that's a very privileged thing to say. But I was working for the government, so it wasn't like my income was insane. I was able to save so much more money each fortnight than I am here. I think if you're living in London, it's for the experience, it's for the travel. I would really caution anyone to think that they're going to save money when they move here. And the thing that makes me feel slightly comforted about my future back in Australia is the fact that I already have a property. Even though I'm saving nothing, at least I'm paying my mortgage and I'll have somewhere to live when I go home. So super privileged, but I just have to.
Awesome. And I'd probably still say, but with the asterisks, industry specific.
I've got a good example of my life story.
Yeah. Claire, all these people that are like, Samara, you're the only one who's like, yeah, I'll talk on the podcast. I knew the people. Yeah. All right,
sorry,
Claire.
I'm another counter again, but I'm probably a third party. So I work in the food industry. I work in product development, project management. So I create new food products. So I would say very mid-tier range. So my earning capacity, I chose passion over like finance or law. I chose to move over because the food industry is much bigger here because there's a bigger population, better experience. So I chose to move for experience. And then I'm very fortunate that I have a European passport thanks to my mum. So I moved during 2020. Yay, lockdowns. But I moved before Brexit. So I'm fortunate in that case that I didn't need a visa. I've quit work due to burnout in my time here. I've then been made redundant, but I've been very fortunate that each time I've gone through those experiences, I've potentially considered moving back to Australia. But I found the job industry here in my industry in FMCG, so fast moving consumer goods or food, it's actually a lot bigger here, and I've been able to bounce back and get a job probably twice as quickly. Most recently, I was made redundant about 6-7 weeks ago, and I did apply for jobs in Australia and I instantly got knocked back. And then I started a job this week. And if you've got experience, my recruiter was able to fight for me to get the salary I wanted. And it's nothing amazing. It is above the average London salary, but it's I'm flat sharing, so that's the downside. So I would say living wise, that's the tricky bit is I can still save. I send money back to Australia, so I'm very lucky to do so. But I think I lean into what Glen's saying is depending on your experience, depending what industry, if you're sensible, I'm able to save each month. I still go traveling. I have a really nice life as a millennial in her 30s. I just have to figure out long term what I'm doing. But I'm actually in a better position than if I was in Australia right now because the job market's really tricky in my industry. And I feel like I'm going ahead by getting the experience I am here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably to like double click on that a little bit more. If you lived, I don't know, regional Australia somewhere, if I said, move to Sydney and save money, it's like, well, it's not really going to happen. But if you really want to dial into your career, there's going to be more career opportunities and jobs in the big city than out in Whoop Whoop. But I think they're both, two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
And I would still encourage anyone, money aside, in your 20s to get out and live, because that's the regrets that I had. I mean, I was focused on build a business and sold that business, in my early mid-30s, and financially is fine. But, it's interesting. It's the psychology of it. It's like, well, lots of money doesn't equal satisfying life.
I think if you have an itch, so I studied abroad in my early 20s, and that's how I knew the world is so big. I think if you have an itch, you would regret it more if you didn't do it. And the thing is, when I moved over, you can always move back. And I moved during a lockdown with knowing I wouldn't be able to get back into Australia, but I still knew I would always be able to go back, and hopefully touch wood will be fine. But I think you'd regret it more if you didn't try, but you have to have the open-mindedness that it might not work the way you want, but that's equally as well, because I didn't expect to still be here in 5 years.
Love it. Thank you, Claire. Samara, any final comments, challenges, agreements, criticisms, complaints, queries, praises?
Yeah, I guess coming over, I don't think we should have in our minds that we're trying to save money. I think you come over, for the experience. You try and be a little bit sensible about things, but you got to maximize your time here. And I think for a lot of us, we're here for a certain period of time, a short period of time. So it's much more it pushes you in that direction to do a lot more than you would back home. I think I've probably traveled more of Europe than I have Australia. Yeah. So, it's just one of those things that pushes you in that direction, and make the most of it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Samara. We'll be back right after our drinks break. Hang in there, friends.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au. And they'll point you in the right direction.
Radio. So I'm with Sarah Kelsey. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Glenn.
Now, if you've listened to the podcast for some time, you may have heard Sarah a couple of years ago. Tell us a little bit about you and where they may have heard you on this podcast and others.
I was hosting a few episodes back in the day. I don't even know how long ago it was now.
It was the year before last, 2023, I think.
Year before last in 2023, which was really fun and great to be exposed to the then My Millennial Money audience. Such a great group, obviously, that we're with today. But I also had my own podcast for about 5 years around financial literacy as well. It was called The One Up Project, but I just stopped that earlier in the year as I moved to London and started a new season of life.
Yeah, and if you haven't noticed from the accent, not Australian.
No.
From the East Island or whatever. All right, so what are you doing for work now? And did you have it lined up before you moved up here? And how long have you been up here?
So I work as a product marketing manager for an HR tech company. And I did not have this job before I moved. I moved in February. I got this job in May. And what was the last question, sorry?
How long have you been here?
In London. I've been here since February. So that's, I think, 7 months now.
Now, just picking up like before the break where I'm like, everyone just moved to London. And then Philly came up and she's like, do not dare say that. You come in here and you make these bold assumptions. Anyway, so during the drinks break, we legitimately had a bit of a drinks break. I was talking to people and they said we were actually better off in London based on their career and whatnot. So again, everything's circumstantial, but based on your career, do you think financially it is better off relatively in London, or you just don't know?
I think for me, in my particular situation, I am better off financially here. However, relative to the cost of living, I don't think it's like as crazy as maybe I think it sort of is in my head, like as crazy good, because I have to factor in the exchange rate and everything. But I think just earning in pounds, to be honest, has made the biggest difference because I was freelancing for 3 years prior to this. And so earning my own money, and that was New Zealand dollars. And then I moved here and was trying to live off New Zealand dollars, which was so painful. So to be earning in pounds now just feels, I'm just so grateful for that, honestly. It makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, awesome. So that's it. I think it's just all circumstantial. What district do you live in? Or is it the district zone? Sorry, it's not the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I don't know what zone I live in, to be honest.
Borough.
I don't know. I live in, is that like what council you're? Tower Hamlets.
She lives near Carnley.
East London.
Canley Wharf. Is it Carnley Wharf?
I live near Canary Wharf.
Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Is that a 1? No, it's a 2. Whatever. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
Zone 2, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been here since February.
Yes.
What would you do differently if you were moving here again, knowing what you now know?
What would I do differently? I'd probably prepare for the job market maybe a little differently. I think it's quite a hard one to work out, maybe depending what career you have, how you're going to find a job most effectively.
Right.
For me, I found a job through a recruiter, but I also had to try and differentiate myself coming into like a tech market, not having any UK or really global experience, but still trying to prove that I was of value to that company, despite maybe not having the desired experience. And something I've noticed here is that generally my experience was that people want a very specific type of person in the role, whereas coming from New Zealand, it's a lot more generalist, and probably Australia is the same. Like you do a lot of different things in a business, especially if you're working for a tech company or a startup, whereas here you often have a specific kind of role. So instead of positioning myself as a generalist in the market, I came in and picked my own niche. So instead of maybe picking general marketing, I wanted to do product marketing, and I was able to work with SaaS tech products, and I tried to position what I did with the podcast and helping the sponsors to grow their brands.
So you gave them a bit of a razzle dazzle at the interview.
Yeah,
nice. And what did you do for accommodation before you arrived or after? Like, what was your arrival like?
So
trumpets, flags, champagne.
Oh yeah, all the works.
Yeah.
No, when I arrived, I had 14 clothing items in a backpack on. I was traveling for a year prior to moving here, and I left New Zealand on a one-way flight with literally a backpack. So moving here was never really the plan. It just worked out that way. And how I was living was I was house sitting and pet sitting all throughout the last year before I moved here. So when I did eventually move here, knowing I had the visa and everything, I just found house sits, and so I could live for free up until I found an actual place to move into.
Yeah, cool. And how are you managing money here?
Very poorly at the moment. As soon as I was saying earlier, like, as soon as I got my first paycheck after trying to live so minimally for so long, I was like, woohoo, you know, like I hadn't had this time before where I could be a little bit more free with the cash. So yeah, it's 6 months in now and I'm into my job almost, and I'm really trying to just rein it back in now. And now I'm exploring things, which is really fun, like the ISA, I think it's called, and how much I'm contributing to pension here and making the decision to do that, and trying to make all of those choices now is quite fun because I have, you know, investments back home with New Zealand companies, but it might not make as much sense to do that now. So just working out how I structure those things has been a fun journey.
When it comes to, like, so you've been, sorry, having a stroke mid-recording.
Good, happens.
It really happens to the worst of us, that's for sure. Do you get paid monthly? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you've only had 6 pays.
Only had 6 pays, but I'm used to being paid monthly. It's horrible. It is horrible.
Yeah, well, you need the Glen James spending plan. Works for any pay frequency. So what are your plans? Talk to me.
I see myself here for the full 3 years, I think, doing the extension and everything. I can't see myself moving back to New Zealand in the short term, especially, even the midterm. But I'm very career driven, so I want to take every opportunity I can from a work perspective and really dive into that and get as much global experience as possible. And I think that's a huge reason why I wanted to travel as well, was because coming from New Zealand, at least a lot of things are New Zealand centric and there's less touch points to other places around the world. And so being here in London is amazing because I'm exposed to so many more types of businesses and ways of working and products that I never would have the exposure to at home.
Yeah, awesome. And how have you gone about making friends?
I tried to go on like coffee catch-up dates with every single person who would be willing to give me a moment of their time.
So was that like coffee catch-up dates as in using Bumble, the non-BFF, or...
Yeah, I was just dating. That's how I made my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not a bad way to do it, actually. But no, I just like was trying to find any mutual friend that had a friend in London, and I would catch up with them. Like I was catching up with everyone's friend, uncle, auntie, you know, whatever. Like whoever had a moment to give, that was me. And I also went to some like community events, or if people were running, you know, they might do art and sip and paint or whatever, like just random events I love going to, and I love being around lots of people. So
did you make any friends on the tube?
I can't say I've made any friends on the tube. Some enemies though, but no.
I didn't ask you about the accommodation when you arrived, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
I was house sitting.
That's right.
Great host though.
I am having a stroke. Oh my gosh.
No, you're fine.
Any recommendations for places to go to eat or drink?
Yeah, Dishoom is my favourite.
How do you spell that?
It's so many people's favourite. Dishoom.
Dishoom. Yeah, so we went the other night. She's like, oh, no one will be there. In my mind, I'm like, we're in London and it's only like 9:30 p.m.
I still carry like a New Zealand mindset with me. I'm like, oh, it'd be so dead. It's a Tuesday
Rocked
night.
up, half hour away. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, so we went to fish and chips instead, which was also still good. My first fish and chips in the UK, so it was exciting.
Any other comments to those who might be thinking of coming up here?
I would really just hone in on my earlier point that when you're looking for a job, I think especially from maybe I work in tech, and I think from that perspective and even like a general corporate perspective, even though it can feel difficult at times and maybe a bit uncomfortable, I would think about your own personal brand and how you position yourself coming over here and kind of pick maybe a niche of what you do really well, and don't be afraid to go into that. And don't be afraid to speak confidently about your strengths, and you're already over here taking the risk. So
yeah, and actually you said something really cool the other night when you first joined the workplace. Talk about when you were like, you made the decision that from day one you were going to set the tone about who you were. Is that like that type of vibe?
Yeah, I said when I entered the workplace, like usually I think in the past I've entered environments and I was really focused on trying to make sure everyone liked me and being like a likable person. But when I entered this workplace, I think I went in with a bit more of just a career progression mindset, which might be good or bad depending on, what you want out of the job or out of your life. But I went in and I wasn't hell-bent on, making friends or making sure that everyone liked me. I just wanted to do a good job and add value to the team. And so that was kind of my focus, and I think I've actually gotten such a long way in the months that I've been here from a work perspective, and I think I've already made a bigger impact here than I ever did in New Zealand in any job I did. So
yeah, and I think it's important because it's we live in our own head so much, and I always think like people like we're all worrying about our own lives and our own self, and I think you show up. They don't know what you know about yourself.
No, they don't know I have this perception.
That's
and
right.
I want them to like me and all these things. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I think it's awesome. Okay, any other final tips that you would give anyone?
Just take risks and be curious, everyone. That's what I would say.
Love it. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for sharing a bit about your journey in London town.
Thank you for having me.
Give her a hand, everyone. Now, did anyone else want to share a bit of their story? Or did anyone else have any other type of money questions? I do have some comments here from our Facebook group. If someone wants to come down and have a chat. Kirsty said, cost of living comparison between living in a bigger city in Australia and London. Does anyone want to maybe come and be brave and just share anecdotally what the living day-to-day is like? Or yeah, come on.
Sorry.
Claire, no, don't be sorry.
So I've been 5 years.
Yeah, so Claire's been here 5 years. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, so where did you come from? Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Yeah. So what is, like, when you were living in Melbourne, did you feel, so what's your career again?
I'm a food technologist,
That's
so
right.
I work in food product development.
And was that in Melbourne as well?
Correct,
okay.
yes.
So like for like, living in Melbourne, were you renting or?
Renting.
Yep. And are you renting in London?
Yes.
Okay, so same industry, same career, same quote-unquote living, capital cities. Is your life financially better off today than it was 5 years ago? Financially?
Financially, yes.
Emotionally?
Yes.
Awesome.
after a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think the biggest, when I moved over, I probably was less financially better off because I took a slight pay cut to get a job here, which I knew because I knew like for like my industry was a bit worse paid here. And rent is the big one. Rent is more expensive in London, unfortunately. So what I was paying in Melbourne when I left was about 1,000 Australian dollars a month. This was 5 years ago, but in a 3-bedroom flat share. But I had the ensuite. I had a room with my own ensuite. When I moved over, my first London rental was in Zone 3 in Ealing. So it's considered not central London. And that was about £700 a month in a 3-bedroom flat share. So a good like for like, so that's about 1,400 Australian dollars.
So at the moment, what is it at the moment?
Now I'm very lucky because I found a friend whose dad actually owns the place I live in now, which is a 2-bedroom, and I pay with bills £800 a month, but I live yeah. But this is also I've gone through some battles though. And that's also in West Kensington.
Okay, can we get a real life person as an example?
No, but realistically, if I was to live in the same area, you're looking around probably, I know because the upstairs flat I remember seeing that was for rent for 1 bedroom flat for market value for a 1 bedroom. That's about 2,000 in the area, and so a 2 bedroom you're looking to then pay about £1,000 for the room itself, plus bills on top, which could be £200. Yeah, a month, £1,000 a month.
So it could be like $500 ish a week, Australian.
Yeah, yes. And so the closer you are, if you're what we say is Zone 1, so central London, you're looking around in a flat share, looking around 1,000 to 1,400 a month pounds.
Okay, so if you had to pay market rent, would you find it financially tight based on your situation?
No.
Okay. But this is interesting. So I want everyone to know that, how old are you now, may I ask?
35.
35, okay. Still a baby in my world. This is so crazy. So you're a food brand.
Food technologist. So I work in food product development. I create new food products.
Yes. What's the latest thing you've created?
I did a kefir drink called Blossom Honey and Vanilla Chai.
So,
yes.
So, and the reason I wanted to just double click and, open this little window was, I think in terms of financially, the best thing you can do is get money from your career and pursuit, right? But most people, like if you asked 100 people that are just finishing year 12 at the moment, what do you want to do when you grow up? There's probably, I don't know, half the room, the jobs that we are doing at the moment isn't on that token list of I want to do this when I grow up. Was what you're doing now what you did want to do growing up, or did you not know it existed?
Yeah, I'm quite proud, I guess, of my career progression, because when I graduated, I actually had a gap year because I had no clue. I started a double degree in a Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science because I still had no clue.
Yeah.
Then halfway through that, because that was a 4-year degree, I actually kind of realised I've always liked food. And some people say, like, oh, chef or nutrition. And I actually did placement when I was in high school with a dietitian. I was like, no, I do not want to do this. And then I think in the back of my mind, having that time in between finishing high school and then having a gap year and traveling, starting 1 degree, I kind of had this moment where I thought of different courses I got exposed to, and I kept leaning back to this Bachelor of Food Science that was at Deakin University in Melbourne. And then they had a work placement unit, part of that degree. And I remember thinking I have nothing to lose. And I felt really old when I was 21, changing my degrees. I wish I could go back and shake myself. And I transferred, and then everything kind of fell into place where I realised, yes, actually I have this passion. I actually enjoy what I do. And it's had its ups and downs, but I actually credit the This Is Work podcast because I think I mentioned previously I went through work burnout when I moved over. So I moved over and worked with a very big energy drink company, ironically, which was very high growth. And I kind of learnt my value through that because I was getting paid a little bit less than what I was in Australia. And I hit a point where I was like, I could actually earn more being back home than here. And then that made me reevaluate. But then I got really good exposure, and then I kind of learned how to negotiate. And so 2 other roles later now, I've definitely progressed my career way quicker than I would have if I had stayed in Australia.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. If you want to go overseas for the experience, you're doing it for that. You might come up here and pour beers and flat share and all that and live life. Awesome. If you want to be strategic, work on your career, I mean, just go out and do something. So.
And I also just wanted to say, I feel like if you want to progress your career, you need time here, like a long time. You can't do that in the 2-3 years because you need to like get the local experience, and they need to like actually acknowledge that for you to be able to get like.
Yeah, and you'd probably have to, put the vibe on that I'm here to stay, quote unquote.
And I think that's why my situation is unique, because I kind of got myself together when I was like 29, because I knew I wanted to live and work abroad, and I knew I would have a better chance if I had a little bit of industry experience in Australia. Sarah made a really good point that the industry here is quite siloed in a way that they do lock you in. So even if you need to pivot your CV to target different types of roles you want, but it also worked in my industry that because in Australia a generalist and I had done everything, that actually has made me quite valuable in the long term in the roles I've been given now, because I have very wide experience, which most people in the UK never get in the same industries that I work in. And I did move over knowing I'd be here for at least 5 years. I was very fortunate to move over on a passport, so I knew I wouldn't have visa concerns. But it's a really good point that if you are probably going to be here on a working holiday visa, have a different plan, or if you can find sponsorship, that does change things as well, but then you will be locked into that company potentially as well for several years.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Claire, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we probably need to wrap this up. Does someone want to come and volunteer and talk to Ebony's direct question? Accommodation is a big one for her. Did you find a room in a share house before moving? And order a bed/mattress, etc. before coming over. Does someone want to talk to the specifics of this? Brendan.
I have to wrap it up quickly.
The only... Well, there's three guys in the room. And it's so weird. I just thought, over 70% of our listeners are women, so... We've had Shane on, and now 100% of the men have been on the podcast.
G'day. Good to be the diversity.
That's right. You're the diversity ticket. So how long have you been here?
Been here for just over 18 months.
Yeah. How's it going?
So far, so good.
Nice. Pidge, you ran into Pidge at the football.
We did. He was on his way to watch the great Gunners.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I lost that day, but we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, someone came up to me," and anyway, funny that that happened. So, what was your kind of ramp to getting here with accommodation and beds and having a mattress delivered to somewhere?
Well, I think the first thing is a lot of the properties over here are furnished, or certainly a lot more than in Australia. So. Generally, it'll come with a bed frame or a mattress, and you can negotiate with the landlord to have it, as part of your sort of moving in a new mattress. But initially, we did do a couple sort of just Airbnbs, traveling around, sort of getting a bit of a feel for the land and the suburbs and where we might want to live.
Yeah, and what are you renting now?
Now we're renting, and this actually might be a good bit of advice.
We've
ended up renting above a pub, which sounds great initially, but in the long term, not so much. And
is that because of the noise or your alcoholism?
Both. Bit of both. Good. But yeah, when we inspected it it was on a Monday, and
it's not too bad. This is quiet here.
The pub was shut. The shutters were down, so we had no idea actually what was under there, and we didn't really do our DD.
Yeah. You can research places.
But honestly, it was the first place that we'd inspected a lot of bad places, put it that way. So it was it would be newly renovated, and we were like, nah, let's just stop this Airbnb nonsense and living out of a suitcase, and let's just set up shop here.
How is it there?
Yeah, it's
noisy.
Fine.
What time's the pub close?
No, it's pretty. I mean,
Brendan, can you leave? We need to close.
There's the thing that there's sort of pubs on every corner here, but they sort of shut up mostly pretty early. They're sort of conscious of neighbours and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So, are we saying if someone did want to come up here, if they were in a position where they had a bit of room in their budget, just book an Airbnb, maybe in a couple of different areas for a month or so, get a vibe, and then start aggressively looking for permanent places?
I think that's the way to go, especially as well because this is much more... I come from Melbourne where it's much more tenant friendly. Here it's certainly much more landlord friendly, and the break clauses and things like that can be quite onerous. So certainly worth having that bit of funds behind you, doing a few Airbnbs first and working things out from there.
At the moment in and around Greater London, if you go to an open rental an apartment, is there like 40 people lining up? Doesn't exist? What does that mean?
Book private.
Oh, you book private. Okay.
You have to be accepted to have a private appointment.
Oh, so Philly, for those who can't hear, She said you book you have to be provisionally accepted, I guess, and then they show you through.
Essentially, that's kind of how it is. The apartments that are advertised are kind of they're the ones that no one wants, but you kind of apply to them so that then you get on the radar of the agent, and then they'll show you ones that are off market. So
right. Okay. And do you have to, if someone's like, yeah, I've just moved here from Australia, do they say, all right, well, you need to prepay 3 months rent or a bigger bond or anything?
6 months.
3 years for you. Shane said 3 years prepaid.
To be fair, I didn't pay that, but they wanted.
And to be fair, this guy lives in Kensington.
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill.
They asked for 3 years up front and a 2-year break clause.
3 years up front and a 2 years break clause because you were not a resident.
So it's not a resident.
But I think they've changed it now. There's legislation that they can only get a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's there's legislation a month.
It's going to actually disadvantage us as expats.
Can you come down, Gemma? Well, thanks, Brandon. You've been taken over. Appreciate you coming. All right. So you were saying.
I was saying.
How long? Wait. How long have you listened to the podcast?
About 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about 2020.
Awkward. Okay, so welcome. So you're saying there's chatter with legislation. Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about, because as Shane was saying, a lot of the places, you come over here and you don't have any UK rental history or you don't have a British guarantor. Like to secure a place, a lot of the places ask for a payment up front. So I had to pay 6 months rent in advance when I got here. But yes, there is talk about them bringing in legislation that they can only ask for a month in advance. But I think everyone's like, oh, that's so great. But I don't think it is, because for us as expats, how else do we get a place if they're saying, oh, well, you don't have any rental history?
I think it's just going to take longer, isn't it? More discretion and
yeah. And
How long have you been here?
2 years.
Yeah. And what was your runway to finding accommodation?
So when I got here, I sublet a place from a random guy.
And they're now married.
It's less dodgy than it sounds. And then friends of a friend for a few months, and then we got our place. But
so there's two of you?
There's three of us. Three of us friends. So the two.
Trouble.
Yeah.
It is 2025. Are
Two
you
friends from
sister
Australia.
wives and one man, or ooh, it's getting late and I'm getting loose?
Unfortunately, not a throuple.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not even a couple. Thanks for rubbing it in.
He's one. No, it's right. Okay.
Yeah. But we got, so it's pretty hard. So I don't know other people's experience, but we had to pay like a £500 non-refundable deposit just to get reference checks done.
Gosh.
And
that's
if
illegal, someone said in the crowd.
No, but they take it off your first month's rent if you pass. If you don't pass, they fail you. And
that's illegal, we've been told.
Apparently that's illegal. Well, we got it back because
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, one, you need to be filthy rich to move to London. Two, there's some dickery going on potentially with some different landlords and all that. How helpful are the groups like Aussies in London on Facebook?
Really
Very
helpful. Yeah, really helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, just for like information purposes and things like that, but also they do like regular posts, like other Aussies seeking or offering like sublets or leases or things like that. Yeah.
And have you felt like in London, we were talking during the break with someone, they were saying that some parts aren't safe at the moment. How has it been for you? Han and Justine said they've both been mugged.
Oh no. Well, I mean,
which is not great.
I have a pretty. Yeah, that's really bad. No, I don't actually feel unsafe as such, like walking the streets, but I do live in an area that's not notoriously great. We had our front door of the apartment complex was broken for a while, so it wasn't latching. And so I feel like word got out amongst those on the street.
No.
And there was a period of a few months where like we would walk out into the stairwell and there would just be a range of people sleeping or doing drugs or whatever in the stairwell.
Well,
So
on that
wasn't
note,
right.
good luck moving to London.
But yeah, we got that fixed quick smart. I did have to threaten some legal action and
Gosh.
whatnot, but yeah, we got there.
Yeah.
But I don't actually feel that unsafe walking on the streets. I mean, not diminishing those who've been mugged in the room.
But I feel like you probably do some subconscious behaviour.
I do. Well, I have a phone strap on like a wrist strap on my phone.
Yeah.
Think about,
I get my keys in my hand ready. But
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Law and Order SVU, so I feel like I've always been on alert.
Yeah, I love that show. Hey,
Yeah, it's
I
so
pay
good.
for that. I buy the season on Apple when it comes out.
It's so
like $25.
good.
I'm like, that's like 20 episodes. That's cheap entertainment for a
Yeah.
lonely guy at home.
Olivia Benson is my hero.
Yeah. And the girl said I should not wear my watch around.
Oh, yeah, probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't put anything in your pockets.
Wow. You're really selling
Maybe I
this
do
place.
feel unsafe, actually.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
All right. So there was. We need to go. Sorry to keep everyone. Whatever. Lizzie said, "Could you tell us a little bit about the reciprocal taxation laws?" It's annoying and complex, but effectively, like, how have you found tax? Do you have assets in Australia that produce revenue or an income?
Yeah.
And how's that going for you?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do. I have like ETFs.
Okay. So with the tax on, I think the different thing with the tax treaty, for example, if you had an investment property, the rental income is taxed in Australia, and if you're a non-resident, the tax 30% starts at $0, right? But the double tax treaty means you just get that credited in. So you pay tax on it here, but they credit it. So it kind of washes out. But the ETFs, what are my notes here? Well, tell me what happens with you.
What happens with me is that I have engaged a tax agent that specialises in UK and Australian
Yeah,
tax.
and I think that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So it's tax in Australia, but you get the credits here, basically. But I think I just wanted to kind of touch on that question to say, number one, property is treated different than other assets when it comes to being Australian. Number two, it comes down to your tax residency, like where you want to be a tax resident. And number three, absolutely do what you've done. Get specific tax advice, and that's just the cost of doing business when you're an expat.
Yeah.
And also HEX, like
Yeah.
people get like 10, 15 grand.
Yeah, so, and basically you've still got to declare your worldwide income for the purpose of HEX and help debt. So that's a real big trap. So, yeah, good luck living. It's just hard life, isn't it? You reckon?
There's a lot of things all the time.
3 years, you can kind of not do it, and you can sort it out when you're back in Australia. That's what friends have done. I don't recommend.
Yeah, but so Claire was saying a couple of years you can sort it out when you. But the tax chickens always come home to roost. They always will.
Yeah, but just be mindful if you do that, it'll come back. But lots of expats freak out and then almost procrastinate from it, and then they're okay.
Yeah, I would probably say as an expat, do your tax yearly. And get someone in here or in Australia, you'll have to file a non-resident tax return in Australia. You'll have to declare your income for a HEX and help. And, you know, there's just no way around it. You don't have to pay the Medicare levy if you're not a resident, tax resident. But we are due for an expat dedicated episode, which I'll do very soon. Well, Gemma, any other final comments that you would like to finish with? Any advice for anyone?
No, I think just reiterating what everyone has said, like you need to bring over more money than you expect. And in terms of the job market, recruiters are really big here.
What do you do for work?
I'm a lawyer.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry
what type of law?
Over here I do like public law.
Oh.
Public inquiries and whatnot.
So you work for the government?
Pretty
the
much. I
Crown?
work at a private firm, but we act for the government. Yeah.
Do you act for the Crown? I just wanted to say that. Do you?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, Your Majesty.
No.
So there's two lawyers. I'll yell out around the room what everyone's doing for work. So we've got Gemma, lawyer, Shane, some magic weirdo, Han, advertising sales, Justine, advertising sales, Sarah is doing tech, Claire is doing making food magic, Philly, you're a lawyer. My apologies again. Steph? A lactation consultant. Interesting. Is that for like new mums? Just going out on a limb?
Who else? Can you talk me through that?
Yeah, going out on a...
Do you need lactation?
Well, hey, at least now I know that Steffi's my lactation consultant. If I ever need one. Awesome. Sweet. For humans or animals? For babies. Hey, there's some weird careers for pets and vets and stuff. Laura?
I'm a dietitian in research.
A dietitian in research from Laura. Beck?
Forensic accountant.
Ooh, forensic accountant. Are you in private or public?
Private.
Cool. Brendan? Private equity. Look out. Catherine?
I work in tech.
In tech? Vague. Love it. Was it Sally?
Yeah.
A nanny. Awesome. And Samara is a physio. For humans or pets? Yeah. Don't laugh. I did a business course that I'm going to relaunch, everyone. Glen James business plan. Look out for it. Going to launch an intake before the end of the year. This lady was a horse physio. Nay. All right. This has been real. I've been Glenn in London. Thank you so much for coming out, everyone. It's been so great to meet so many of you. I've had a pretty wild, fun night. And again, at the end of this episode on YouTube, we'll put up some videos of Shane wowing people. Do you want to do one last card trick? Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to come up and sit here, Shane? All right. And while Shane's coming up, thanks, Gemma. While Shane's coming up, a big thank you to my team because I'm recording this Thursday night. Is it the 2nd tonight? Yeah. Thursday night, the team don't work Fridays because we do a 4-day work week. Monday's a public holiday in Australia, and this is going up at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So the team's working over the weekend to get this out on Monday, so on Tuesday. So thank you to the team for doing this. All right, do you want to get a volunteer or do you want to do it on me?
You know what we should? It's up to you. We can either do a card trick or we can probably do the weirdest thing anyone's going to see all night.
Yeah, let's do the weirdest thing.
Do you want to do the weirdest thing we've seen all night? Okay, we can do this. We just need maybe do you want to do it, Glenn, or do you want to watch other people do it? Okay, we just need one other volunteer.
Yep. Who wants to do this?
who wants to experience the weirdest thing they're going to experience all night?
Beck can come up.
Freaking out right now. Perfect.
Beck can come up. I can't believe they're using American airline tumblers.
It's a weird thing to do, isn't it?
I reckon they've got them from like a sale. I've got Qantas tumblers at home. That's right. No, handset ones.
All right.
Okay. Rebecca's writing her full name on a card.
And Glenn, you're going to write your name on the other side of this.
My full name?
Just your first name's fine.
Okay.
And you can kind of turn and face each other a little bit.
Okay.
Gosh.
So Glen.
That's the one. Perfect. All right.
I'm nervous.
And we're going to try and create a connection between the two of you, okay? And here we go. Put this up here.
She's married, Shane.
This is not that kind of
Oh, okay.
And if you've ever done any mindfulness meditation or anything like this, we're going to try and create a bit of mindfulness between us. So what I'm going to get you both to do is kind of face each other, put your hands out kind of like this towards each other. Yeah, up a little bit higher so they can see it. Can you take a big deep breath in, both of you?
Can I hold the microphone?
Yeah, you can hold the microphone. I'll hold mine too.
Oh, yeah,
I'll hold one too. Okay, you can put your hands just kind of on your knees in front of you. Okay, perfect, Lenny. All right, this is gonna seem strange. You can just rest your hands on your knees, perfect, exactly like that. Okay. So, Glenn, in a moment, we're gonna do something strange. All I'm gonna ask you to do is to close your eyes. And while your eyes are closed, I want you to kind of remember everything that you feel, everything that's kind of taking place. So, okay, close your eyes for me. We're all gonna we're not gonna embarrass you or anything like that. And while your eyes are closed, I just want you to remember everything that you feel. Okay? You can open your eyes. Okay. Did you feel me touch you on the shoulder?
I did.
Perfect. So that's exactly the experience you're gonna create. Okay. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. And then while your eyes are closed, remember everything that you feel. Remember where, remember how many times. And then when I ask you to open your eyes, then you can open your eyes again. Okay, so close your eyes for me. And again, remember everything you feel. Yeah. Remember where, remember how many times. Okay, so keep your eyes closed. Now, Glenn, the next time you feel me touch you, keep your eyes closed. I just want you to say the words yes, nice and loud.
Yes.
Okay, keep your eyes closed. The next time you feel me touch you, just say yes, nice and loud, okay?
Yes.
Okay, Glenn, the next time you feel me touch you, keep your eyes closed. I want you to raise your right hand to the sky, okay? When you feel me touch you, raise your right hand to the sky. Okay, perfect. And when you feel me let go, I want you to lower your hand, all right? Okay, Glenn, open your eyes for me. Okay, do you remember being touched here?
Yes.
And on your nose?
Yes.
And on your wrist?
Yes.
Glenn, where was the last place you felt me touch you?
On my foot.
Just once?
You pressed it down twice.
Maybe, yeah, it was more than once? Okay. Now, this is going to seem like a strange thing. You can watch the video back a little bit later, but that moment was not actually touching you. I was touching back. Okay? All right, so... yes. All right, we're going to try this. We're going to try this the other way around, okay? Maybe you can hold on to this for me. Can you hold on to this? Beck, I'm going to try this with you this time, okay? I want you to close your eyes and I want you to remember everything you feel, okay? So even if you feel something close to your face, just remember every sensation and touch you feel, okay? Open your eyes for me. Okay, did you feel me touch you on the shoulder?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay, so we're just all about this. So again, this time I'm going to ask you to close your eyes one more time and take a big deep breath in. Remember everything you feel. Okay, big deep breath in. Okay, out. Did you feel anything in that moment?
No.
Okay, all right, maybe open your eyes. We're going to try this a different way. Okay, can you keep your eyes open? This time again, I want you just to remember everything that you feel. Let me look at your hand for a second. Okay, did you feel anything in that time? That's okay, this is perfectly normal. Can you just show them what I did just on your hand here? Just gonna flip it around the other way.
Does Beck see it?
Yeah, you can see. Okay, can you show Beck what I just did on your hand? Hey Beck, did you feel anything at all in your hand? Which is can you reach your hand forward?
Yeah.
Your other hand would be this one here. Can you show them? Yeah, that one there, right there. Can you show them?
Oh.
Yeah, you can look as well.
Okay. Check, please.
All right, I'm going to turn these out. Just I don't want you to go home and let you stretch and let your arms just start raising in the air. So we're going to leave that there for now.
Oh my god.
Right. Okay. Did anyone see him do that?
No. But you didn't feel it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't feel anything. Apart from the one.
Well, that's been real. Thanks so much for joining us in London, everyone. Thanks, Shane, and thanks, Beck. Thanks for being here.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds Financial Services Licence 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.
All I'm going to say is, if I could imagine, if I could give you a ticket and you can go anywhere in the world right now, maybe you'd go to, maybe you go back to Australia, maybe you go to the US, maybe you go somewhere just close by, or the truth is you could go down to Wimbledon if you want to. I want you to think about a place somewhere in the world, anywhere in the world. Could be maybe not a country, but like a specific place. Do you have a place in your mind? Okay, perfect. This is going to seem strange. You obviously don't know what the weather is there right now. All I'm going to ask is to make sure that it's not London, New York, Istanbul, or Melbourne. Yeah. Is it any of those places? No. Okay, perfect. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to search for that place and remind me of your name?
Hannah.
Hannah, I want you to look at what the current temperature of that place is right now. Can you see the current temperature?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a temperature, and do you mind passing the phone just over to Philly? And Philly, do you mind scrolling down? There should be something random, maybe like the wind speed of this current place. Is there a wind speed of that place right now? Perfect, okay. Can you just hit cancel for me? Perfect, so it's gone. So all I'm going to ask is, for example, if you were to go to a place right now in London, it's currently 17 degrees. Let's say anything that 15 degrees or lower is cold. Let's say anything 15 degrees or higher is hot. And you have a random wind speed in your head, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. This is going to make more sense to you. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this list here. This list is a bunch of random things that I normally pack when I'm going on a holiday. Could you see, was it less than 10?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Can you correspond the number with the object that's on my packing list in your head?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So we have a random place, we have a random temperature, and we have maybe a random object that's in your mind right now, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're going to try this. Let's go on an imaginary journey. Justine, I want you to imagine for a moment you're at an airport right now, and you look down and you see in your hand you're holding a boarding pass, okay? And on that boarding pass, I want you to look specifically at the city you're going to go to. Okay, can you see that in your mind? All right, here's what we're going to do.
I'm sweating. Why am I?
Okay. And what's the date today?
Second,
all right. Okay, can you hold your hand up for me? Just hold it nice and flat. Okay, just hold that in there. Okay. I want you to imagine, if you were to see the numbers from 1 through 9 all kind of floating in front of you, just in your mind, imagine reaching up and grabbing either the 1 or 2 digit number in your head. So for example, it's 15 degrees, you'd reach up and grab a 1, and you'd reach up and grab a 5, and just to see that happening in your mind. Okay, fantastic. And then I want you to imagine, maybe you're on this trip and you think about things you're packing, maybe you're packing a suitcase. I want you to imagine that object that you had, and I want you to imagine just kind of looking down and seeing that maybe in your bag. Can you see that in your mind?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right, you can see reach up and grabbing this number in your mind? Okay, did you reach up and grab a 9? Is this 9 degrees of the city you're at? Okay, fantastic. All right, we'll start with this. And you had an object in your mind. Okay, out of curiosity, what was the object you were seeing in your mind just now? Hold out your hand for me. What was the object?
AirPods.
Okay, that's great, fantastic. All right, and there was a random place that you were thinking about, right? You saw a boarding pass. What was the city you were going to on that boarding pass? Yeah.
Zurich.
Okay, can you flip that over and have a look?
It's gonna be
see what that says on there? Does
Oh.
that
No way! How?
I know it's random, right?
What? Is it?
It seems strange, right? But before we started tonight, I had a bunch of cities that were coming into my mind, and I thought Zurich was going to be one of those places, but it's actually, I wrote down a random list of places. So I wrote down Rio, Italy, Croatia, Haiti, Uruguay, and Zimbabwe, it's not any of those places, which is fantastic. But out of curiosity, do any of these things have anything to do in common with Zurich?
Yeah, it's Zurich. Yes.
That's really random. That's really random. All right, here's the thing. We'll start simple. We're going to try something for all of us together, okay? So this is something we can all be a part of.
Okay, that's ended that one.
I promise this is going to be a lot cooler as it goes on, but we're going to try and create something together that could only be created right now in this moment with every single person in this room. So we're going to try and do something very specific. And because it's a money event, we should do something with numbers, hence the reason the calculator. So we're going to pick some random numbers, and these numbers are going to help kind of like create this moment together. So Sarah, we're going to start with you. I want you to think about a year that's really important to you. It could be any year at all. It doesn't have to be your date of birth. It could just be any significant year, and we're going to all put that into our calculator together. So what year are you thinking of? The first year that comes to mind for you?
1998.
1998? All right, so everyone type 1998 on your calculator. And then we're going to hit multiply. We're going to multiply this by maybe another random 2-digit number. So maybe, what was your name?
Laura.
Laura, can you think about maybe a number of a street that you lived on any time in your life? Doesn't have to be your current one. So any, just number that comes to mind. What was the number?
18.
Okay, everyone multiply that by 18. Okay. And now we're going to add another random 4-digit number. So Beck, when you think about a 4-digit number, it doesn't have to be a year. Maybe just on... nice and loud for so we can all hear, maybe just your PIN number. So I'm just hitting. Everyone hit plus, and then these 4 digits.
2,000.
2,000 plus 2,000. Okay. Everyone hit equals. Everyone should have 37,964. Everyone have that? Okay, fantastic. We're all on the same page. You're all great at listening, okay? Here's what we're going to do. Hit plus. Now we're going to create a little bit of randomness and spontaneity to this. Justine, do you mind holding your finger up just like this? Okay, we're going to try and go for maybe 6 numbers. Don't hit higher than the calculator. I just want you to mash the keypad 6 times. Okay, ready? Yep, anywhere you want. 4, 5, 6. Okay, great, we've got 6. Okay, so we've got, everyone hit plus 172, 758. And then hit equals. And hopefully we should have 210,722. Does everyone have that?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. This could have gone horribly wrong for all of us. Okay, so here's the thing, right? We started this, and I told you that we were going to create something that could only be created with this group of people in this room tonight. A random year, a street number that you lived on, and random 4-digit numbers, probably a PIN number. We're not really sure. But we created something special today. Before we started, I actually made a prediction. I wrote it down on my hand. I wrote down the word now. It's not the prediction of what we just wrote. But out of curiosity, I asked before, what's the date today?
The 2nd of October.
And what's the time right now?
7:22.
So it's the 2nd of the 10th, 7:22 p.m. This moment.
That is incredible.
What is this sorcery?